The Clown Prince of Gotham is known to be one of DC's biggest villains and has had many portrayals by different actors in the past. Some of them you loved, others not so much. The most unexpected actors end up doing the character justice. In this video, we'll be talking about a certain actor from the new Netflix show The Sandman and his interest in taking the role. First up, what's he like in The Sandman? 40-year-old American actor Boyd Holbrook plays Corinthian, a sadistic nightmare that comes into being and walks freely in the human world. Okay, in simpler terms, he's a guy with mouths for eyes and can possess anyone he wants. Oh, and he's the antagonist to an emo Dracula-like character. No, not Edward Cullen. Boyd's acting? Well, from what we've seen, it's phenomenal. He's cunning, mysterious, scary, and very evil. All that a character needs to play the Joker. His presence in a room will make you uncomfortable. He's just that good. But does good quite cut it? The Joker is not an easy role to take, so what makes Holbrook so confident to publicly state that he's interested in playing the character? Doesn't he know the state of comic book fans and how they tear every celebrity apart if they say one thing that doesn't align with their opinions? Next, how did the conversation come into place? Well, the actor was actually being interviewed by Men's Health, and he talked about taking the role of secondary characters that are foreign to him and showed a lot of interest. To paraphrase what he said, Boyd said things along the lines of wanting to apply his own perspective on different stories and cultures, or on other people's perspectives. Okay, that line's a thinker. It'll take a while to comprehend that. He also said how there have been a number of reincarnations of the Joker in interesting ways, and described secondary characters, mainly villains, as more keys on a keyboard. That's a pretty good analogy by the Sandman actor, and it seems like he's done his research on Batman's arch-nemesis. If you really think about it, picture Batman, or any other protagonist, as something on a screen, like this video you're watching. Now the Joker, being the keys on a keyboard, can toy around with whatever's on screen and affect everything that goes on here. Try it. Hit the right arrow key and you'll send this video forward by 5 seconds. Good job. This is now your Joker origin story. Now, has Boyd got what it takes? Oh great, you actually hit the right arrow key. Go back, you missed out on a few seconds of this video. Anyway, Holbrook is pretty familiar with villainous roles. Oh, and for some reason, he's also really familiar with sunglasses. No, really. We can name like 5 things he's been on where he's wearing sunglasses. Sort of like Tom Hardy and his face that is almost always covered by some sort of mask. You may have forgotten Boyd's previous movies, but The Sandman isn't the first time he's played the antagonist in something comic book related. You remember Logan? You know, the movie about Wolverine that brought grown men in their 30s to the verge of tears? Yeah, that one. Remember the dope cyborg cowboy bad guy? Yup, that was Boyd Holbrook. Looks like he's got a knack for being the bad guy in movies, and we don't think he'd have a hard time being DC's biggest villain. And no, we won't be talking more about Logan, only because it'll have us shedding even more tears. He's an underrated actor for sure. He's been the secondary character, or in his words, the keys to a keyboard, in a lot of popular movies and shows like Narcos, The Predator, Gone Girl, and more. You've got to hand it to him. He's treated like the sprinkles laced with talent on some good films and shows. Next, let's take a look at his chances. But isn't being the secondary character, or the sprinkles to go on top of a good film, exactly what you need to shine your talents on a villain as expressive and maniacal as the Joker? It's happened to actors like Cameron Monaghan, hasn't it? He started off as a child actor in minor roles to a prominent one in Shameless, and then gave one of his best performances we've seen in Gotham. Oh, just thinking about his portrayal of Jerome Valeska sends chills down my spine. Now, Boyd probably knows his chances of being the Joker are close to none, given that there are already 2 actors with the title. Matt Reeves found his Joker in Barry Keoghan for his The Batman universe, while Todd Phillips has dibs on Joaquin Phoenix for his Joker sequel, Folie à Deux, and Lady Gaga will be Harley in that one, and it's a musical? This should be very interesting. But Holbrook wasn't exactly begging for the role in this interview. He knows his odds are slim. He just wanted to show his interest in playing these characters. He's got the range, but doesn't have the opportunity yet. Maybe one will arise after the concept of multiverses is established in the DCU through the solo Flash film that's taking taking forever to come out. As for the two-time villain, he's also open to playing the antagonist in the next James Bond film. The guy really loves being evil, doesn't he? He'll be appearing next in Indiana Jones 5, where he'll be working with Harrison Ford, and will be reunited with the Logan director, James Mangold. Gee, I wonder what his role in that movie will be. Lastly, let's talk about The Sandman. The show turned out to be a huge surprise. It's built an amazing and gorgeous fantasy universe involving magic, demons, dreams, and a little bit of mythology. The pacing of the show is just right, and the plot is really easy to follow. The cast is brilliant, with faces you may recognize from other famous shows like Game of Thrones. The story adapted from DC Vertigo was finally given justice, because Tom Sturridge is amazing as Morpheus, not to mention Holbrook's sinister performance as Corinthian. No, we weren't sponsored by the show. It's just really good, and luckily, you can stream it on Netflix. That borrowed subscription finally has some use to it now. Other news. First up, Ezra Miller apologizes for their actions. The past few weeks have not been good for Ezra's PR team. Miller's recently been charged with burglary after they were reported for stealing several bottles of alcohol. This was after they were charged with disorderly conduct and harassment. After this fiasco, Variety was able to get an apology out of them, where they claimed their actions were due to complex mental health issues. They added that they wanted to do better and are seeking professional treatment. So the reign of terror by the Flash actor has come to an end, but as usual, social media is buzzing and saying that this was just damage control, so Warner Brothers can continue with the release of the Flash movie. It's still unknown whether Miller will be appearing for press tours or not, but it's good to hear that they're seeking treatment. Also, Dwayne Johnson wanted Shazam out of Black Adam. A quick history lesson for you. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been in talks to play Black Adam in the DCU for over a decade, and was set to star as the villain in 2019's Shazam. But get this, Johnson read the initial script and didn't want two origin stories of two of the biggest characters to collide like this. He made a few phone calls and said that this would be a disservice to the characters, and that Black Adam deserved his own origin film. Well, wish granted. This thinking might have come in handy when Zack Snyder planned his Snyderverse with Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. But to a few people, it worked out exceptionally, given the fact that there have been close to 0 iterations of either Black Adam or Shazam, so separate films building up to a grand face-off was a good call. Dwayne Johnson has repeatedly said that the hierarchy of the DCU is about to change. Well, let's see about that, because Black Adam will be in theaters this fall, and Tom Sturridge was doing the Batman voice. If you've seen the show, the Sandman's personality somewhat matches that of Bruce Wayne. Dark, broody, and really sleep-deprived. So during initial shooting, Morpheus actor Tom Sturridge was unintentionally doing a Batman voice. In an interview with IGN, creator Neil Gaiman had to tell Tom to stop what he was doing. Yeah, no, don't do that. What you're doing, what you came up with, is fine. Don't be Batman, said the Sandman creator. Honest mistake from Tom though. It's not easy coming up with an original accent for a character whose personality is that of the God of Dreams. Poor guy even asked if his voice could be altered post-production, but the showrunners were satisfied with his natural performance and thought that no changes were needed. Looks like Sturridge got nervous when he realized that he'd be the first official face of a 30-year-old long comic run. Don't worry though, because he did a great job. And that's a wrap for this video. Now for the question that's about to wage an all-out war in the comments. Who do you think did the best job in playing the Joker? And do you think Boyd Holbrook would make a good Clown Prince of Gotham? Let us know in the comments below. As always, leave a like and hit the subscribe button below to see more of our content. We'll catch you in the next one.